person walking in has 3 devices that he wants to connect to Wi-Fi. And so if you have a family checking in, you're talking, about 15. So I suppose it's a matter of, being able to cap it.
Some more examples? I like this one.
Well, there are a lot of other things. I think, the other thing that, coming to the Alila brand, if you look at the aesthetic there, is very different from the aesthetic that is there in most 5-star. What you think of a 5-star deluxe hotel is, crystal chandeliers, white glove service, and and I think of the the Oberoi hotels with the silver, cutlery and crockery. I think the modern day traveler doesn't know the silver from silverware. So so I think luxury is not about that anymore. It's about to steal the Park Hyatt slogan. It's luxury is personal, right? A lot of people are looking at what Amruda was talking about earlier, looking at privacy, looking at like security. That's also a very important trend. Security is huge. But I think you're looking for a modern aesthetic. It's not necessarily something that's expensive to build. It's something that is smart and chic. And I think that's what the modern retailer is looking for.
Satyen, you're going up the value chain or down the value chain? If you had your way, would you go more upscale or would you go more mid-scale?
I think slightly more upscale.
But your operating ratios and your costs are so much better in mid-scale. Why do all you guys want to go upscale?
It's always, because real estate is so expensive, it's always get good revenue out of the per square feet kind of a model. And I think what is happening is a lot of people are traveling all over the world. So people are expecting what they see outside in India now. So that's a trend, and people are getting more sensitive about the environment. So slowly, even in the mid-market, people are seeing more environment conscious approach. I think that's...
I tend to feel that a lot of people are using that as a gimmick, with that 10 card saying if you don't want the towel rework.
Even things like power costs, they are killing. So some things, that investment is paying for itself, I think, because of the high power costs.
Nirav, your next hotel is going to be luxury, upscale, mid-scale?
Definitely a leisure hotel. Will it be upscale, mid-scale? It will be purely perception, as Keshav just mentioned. It's not about crystal chandeliers and silverware. It's about the service and the good feel about the hotel. So it can be perceived as upscale, but it can also pass off as a good, well-operated hotel.
Thank you. Okay, let's talk about some nitty-gritties. All of you have been involved in development. All of you have been involved directly or indirectly in raising money for projects. Let's talk about the raising money first and then talk about the projects. What were the mistakes you made, and what are the hurdles that you guys face that you can share with the audience so they can learn from your mistakes? Nirav, why don't you kick it off? I know the mistake you made.
In terms of mistakes, definitely it was a learning curve, in the sense hotels in India tends to develop over a period of 3-4 years, and you decide something, you plan for certain requirements of the clientele, which by the time you are open, things might change. One of the classic examples, to be very honest, we made a mistake in our ballroom. Right? I think it's undersized for the certain requirements of the Goa market. Other than that, I think there are a few areas where we definitely overspent, which we could have cut short.
No, I was asking about funding. I was asking about the raising of money.
Raising of money in terms of funding, our mistake definitely was in the tenure of the debt, which was shorter than the industry standards. So, but the reason we took it, we got quite a bit of foreign currency debt, and part of it which I didn't hedge. So we all know what we are facing currently, and so that definitely is a mistake and part of the...
If you were to take a loan tomorrow, would you hedge it? FX loan?
Well, brain would say do it, heart would say don't do it. just risk it a bit more because it's
Satyen, what about you?
I
On the
think
funding?
with the hedging costs and all, it makes quite unviable. But I think debt is still available for companies which are doing decent. And if you have a good project, it's about negotiating with the right banks. And I find nationalized banks sometimes give great rates in
They're
compared
the
to
best,
private.
yeah.
So it's about getting that. But the capital markets are doing so badly that private equity is really expensive. So I think that is, at this point in time, would be away from that. But I'm sure debt is available.
What is the longest tenure that any of you have experienced of loan, door to door, from first drawdown to last repayment? Amruda? You've got a hotel that just opened, so...
I'd still say between 8 to 10 years is pretty much.
No, I
But,
think this is where we're making a mistake compared with the developed world. The longest I've seen is 13 years door to door. And anywhere in the developed world, you're talking about 15 years, 20 years, 25 years, mortgage formulas, bullet repayments. So why aren't you guys doing something about this? Keshav, have you tried?
We looked at various structures. We've talked to a lot of banks. We explored the ECB market. I think by the time I really got into my groove, I realized a lot of companies had taken, whether ECBs or FCCBs, and a lot of people are warning me against it. And I sort of, even if you do hedge, by the way, if the sort of, you can hedge up to a point, and if the swing was like it was last year, you can really lose your shirt. So we realized that the interest spread between ECBs and the local market was not substantial. So we've gone mostly with we've got only with Indian currency.
The other problem with ECB is you never get the tenure.
Yes, but there are ways and means from what I've heard, but that's the problem. Everything comes down to ways and means, and we're not comfortable with that. At least in my parent company, which is a listed company, we want to do everything as far as possible, in a transparent manner, which means that you're stuck with what we have. I think there was word that infrastructure status may be granted, and that's something that we talk about every year.
We're looking to the first row over here for that.
and I do know that the FHRAI and various industry bodies have been trying to champion that, and we should continue the fight, because should that happen, I think look, from an 8-year tenure to a 15-year tenure is huge. I mean, we're Indian hoteliers. We'll make it work. And especially we all need it now, because I think a lot of hoteliers have built hotels in the last few years, and a lot of us are strained. I think it's quite, it's in the papers for all of us to read, and so if the industry were to get that benefit now, it would really help everybody.
Well, we did get it some time ago, but it didn't really trickle down, because the bank got a benefit which only applied in certain cases. So even though we did get that status, maybe Vivek can throw some more light on this. When we did have the infrastructure status, it didn't really filter down because the banks wouldn't really pass it on. Anyway, we'll save my question.
We'll open up to answers when we're done.
Okay, on the project implementation side, biggest mistake each of you has ever made? You personally. You want to go first, Satyen? Go.
Yeah, I think hiring the wrong contractor. Sometimes we look at a big contractor, don't realize how much work he's already taken. And a simple service contractor can delay a project by 6 months. Yeah. And they are just taking work without really bothering to finish it. And forget penalties, you have to give them premium to get your work done. So I think that's one of the bigger mistakes.
You couldn't enforce a penalty?
It's not possible to enforce on any contractor. I think he stops work, and at the end of the day, you have to finish the project. So
Nirav?
Biggest mistake I would say in certain areas, definitely over-designing, which would definitely save time, cost. Probably you wouldn't require skilled contractors, so you can work with local contractors and get things done.
I agree. I think it would be, being disciplined about, timelines and aesthetics and being able to say if this is what's been planned and this is what's been budgeted, to stay true to that. I think that's,
Stick to the plan
Just
rather
being
than,
disciplined.
oh, I've got so far, let's add this. That's what you mean?
yes.
Oh, you guys have only made simple mistakes. No one's made big mistakes.
That's because you left the best for last. No, I think I made a ton of mistakes developing various hotels, but I think maybe the biggest mistake is developing one that shouldn't have been developed in the first place.
Yeah.
Right? I think I see a lot of nodding heads. And
That's
we've
an
all,
expensive one.
and we've all been there. No, but I think sometimes the environment switches. The problem is it's a 4 to 5 year development cycle. I hear a lot of people saying 3 years, but I've yet to see a hotel above 200 rooms get built in 3 years. There have been a few, but very few and far between. But knowing when to say cut your losses and move. And there's been about, I would say, one project where I felt maybe I should have just stopped.
Well, I've always said that anyone from your generation who's actually been involved in building a hotel from start to finish is, in my mind, a triple MBA. My congratulations to you. Nirav, I saw you go through this. If you had to choose one location in India for your second hotel, where would it be?
I would do a circuit, say a Kurg, Kabini, Bandipur, or a Kerala circuit, or a Rajasthan circuit. So it wouldn't be one, but I would like to have a circuit.
You're not thinking of nice city hotel to print money.
No, I think with the land
80%
prices, the development restrictions, I think it's a nightmare. Leisure hotels, you can do it at much reasonable cost and make it more sustainable.
Where would you go, Amruda?
Under the Leela flag, South Bombay.
Hurry, everyone's running away from South Bombay
You
now.
still
They
need
think
it,
it's all in the north.
You
where
still need
live.
it, but we have the north covered.
Yeah.
So I would say that from a branding perspective, you'd still need a
Okay.
presence.
Me? Yeah, I want to add my name. I want to bid for the Taj, and that would be a nice tree, wouldn't it? No, So I think obviously central. So Delhi, New Delhi is amazing. New Delhi proper. I'm not talking about Gurgaon, Noida, and all that stuff. But I'm talking about New Delhi proper, or Bombay. South Bombay is like a dream. It doesn't matter if. I'm thinking
But
from the
South
heart.
Bombay is hurting compared to North Bombay. I'm surprised with both of you.
I'm thinking from the heart.
I
yeah,
can
like
understand from a strategic point of view, but from an actual numbers point of view?
No,
North Bombay is because of the cost of land to revenue ratio. South Bombay is, I stay in South Bombay. I can see the traffic and the way it's going to be a tough thing to cost better.
So Nirav, they've left the field open for you. Actually, I've always thought, and I'd like your views on it, that with the increase in purchasing power that we see, you take a city like Bangalore, you draw a 3-hour radius, 4-hour radius around Bangalore, 180 to 200 days a year, you can't get a room. And look at the rates. So why aren't you guys there?
In Bangalore, it's home ground for you.
yeah, I can.
No, I was just giving Bangalore as an example. The same applies to Bombay or Delhi.
But then that's what you'll see. Exactly like how Bangalore is now, sort of split itself into these micro markets where everyone, sort of has a capture within that. It's mainly due to traffic. No one wants to commute, so you stay close to where.
No. I'm asking a different question. I'm saying I've got so many young double income families, maybe with small kids. They need to get out over a weekend, over a long holiday. You can't get a room in Kurg or Kabini or any of these places. Why aren't more of you there?
So we are. Okay, so we've got 2 heritage hotels in Mysore. That's in the Royal Orchid brand. And one thing that there is a lot of hype about this, Homi. I think Monday to Friday you're empty, and on long weekends you're sold out. I mean, you can't sustain a business just on long weekends. I think I'm coming to exactly what you're saying. So there's conferencing and things like that which can fill up the weekdays and things like that. I think the 180 kilometer radius outside Bombay and Delhi have worked far better. And yes, you're right. That, I mean, I would look at like a Neemrana as a very successful example of that. The entire Lonavala region, which I think now has gotten a little overbuilt.
I
But
think Alibag comes to mind as, the
I'm
opportunity.
surprised more people haven't done it.
yeah, Alibag is a sensation location. I think it'll do very well.
We are coming up at Alibag.
Oh,
So,
how many rooms?
100 rooms. It's a 5-acre place.
Wonderful. No, so like Nirav was saying, your entry barrier is so much lower. Okay, land is not cheap anywhere, but land in locations like this is in a few crores an acre rather than a few 100 crores an acre. So doesn't that make a difference to your thought process?
Well, I'm not buying land, right? So, so for me, I have to manage hotels where the hotels are being built. That's part of being a management company. You have to sort of chase the hotels which are under construction and then offer your management services to them. Unfortunately, a lot of hotels are not being built in. A lot of the hotels that are being built, I'll tell you, I have talked to a lot of people in Mahabaleshwar, a lot of people in Coorg, in these sort of cities which are beautiful locations, lovely to visit. There are two problems I find. One is that the infrastructure is not very great. And two, typically the entrepreneurs who want to build these hotels have budgets in the range of 10 crores, 15 crores or something. Unfortunately, if you build a 25-room hotel if you build a 25-room hotel in a Mahabaleshwar or something, it may be beautiful, it may be nice, but it doesn't work. You need to, if you want to attract MICE, you need to do what he's doing, a 100-room hotel in Alibag or something where you've got a large banquet hall, and I mean, you can do it like you can do villas and do it, make it nice and pretty, but you also need to have these things which are your demand drivers. And most people who want to build properties in such locations, they don't understand this. So you have to sort of, if someone's willing to build a hotel, as far as that, we're doing one in Shimla, which is I think which is nice. But yeah, when we do that, we're going to make sure we have a large hall at least. This
No, so it's not the way of the future, or is it the way of the future? Are resorts a focus? Yes, no. Here's yes.
But I think second homes are a bigger priority for that, for the profile of audience that you're talking about.
No, so that's the other thing that's waiting to happen. Why aren't more people doing sale and rent back? I can pay for all or half my hotel, especially if you have a nice brand. So
I
you're
think
doing
that's
it?
probably what
Doing
I
it?
could see. No, we're not. But if I had to identify an opportunity, that's probably where it would be.
I think it works very well in the luxury space, so it would work with their brand. But I think you're right that this double income, no kids, have long weekend, will travel. IT companies, especially in Bangalore, people, they get the whole weekend off, unlike us hoteliers who work 7 days a week. So there is, and those people, by the way, are not looking for the typical, resort. They're looking for the resort that gives that little extra. You look at the Orange County resorts in Coorg, which are so successful, right? So they're successful because they offer something a little extra. There are a lot of these sort of resorts which are within, which a lot of people may not even have heard of, but they command sensational rates.
Why aren't you guys thinking of fractional ownership, sale and rent back?
Well, it's something that we are conceptualizing, but still too early to.
It worked very well in Goa. Yeah. It would work well in Goa.
Okay, I think we've overshot a little on time. Vivek, you're going to answer the first question. Can someone give him a mic, please? No, but we're all interested in that, and then maybe the audience could like to address the panel.
Homi, you asked a question about inclusion of hotels in the infrastructure lending list of the Reserve Bank of India. This is one thing we've been striving for the last 3 years. There were a couple of reports prepared on this subject, Dr. C. Rangarajan report, Mr. Deepak Parekh report, and for the last 2 or 3 years, the government is grappling to see how to have them in a unified, harmonized list. So finally, they selected 23 sectors, including hotels, which were approved by the Infrastructure Committee of the Cabinet, headed by the PM. And you won't believe hotels got included there, but our minister called me up just after the meeting and said, Vivek, I'm shocked that the agenda says only hotels with city limits of 10 lakhs population are eligible for this benefit. So 98% of the hotels in the country are out of this list. So he says, how is that possible? So when he saw this in the cabinet meeting, he told the PM and Mr. Pranab Mukherjee, the finance minister, that this is not what you're asking for. What's the point giving us infrastructure status when 98% of the hotels are out? So immediately the PM asked him to send a letter to the FM. But India works that way. That was 1st of March. And here we are in September and we are still at the same stage.
But if it comes through, like we were briefly, the banks did get a benefit a few years ago, which is no longer there.
Yeah.
The trickle down just didn't happen.
Well, now on 1st of March, they published the 23 subsectors. But typical of the Reserve Bank of India, I keep chasing the Deputy Governor every week. Can you imagine, till today they haven't notified the list. So no bank has got the authorization to give loans under the whatever benefits the hotels can get.
Well, we're all behind you. We hope you get this done soon.
But just to recap, it will be extremely beneficial once this comes about. Right now, all the infrastructure sectors like ports, even airports, roads, are eligible to take loans